Hello Aries, thank you for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. For the supportive oracle cards, I'm using the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Already shuffled, so let's get them out here and see what we got. I don't know if we're going to pull that bottom one out. I wanted to pull it, but they're like, no, no, no. I want this bottom one, though. That's weird. Alright. Now, they're like, no, leave that there. So I'm going to leave it there. I wanted to pull it up, but they're like, no, leave it there. Maybe we'll pull it out after. I don't know. I wanted to pull it out, though. Overall energy, you have a transition going on here. You definitely... You got this going on. This is your overall... This is a 3, right? They seem to be, like, talking about the Wheel of Fortune, mostly going from this place of the King of Cups going into this Ace of Swords, which you'll notice in this deck, swords are very much connected with fire action. Swords usually are air for me, but... It's definitely one of those decks where as I read, it gives me the information that it wants to push forward, or they want to push forward, however you want to look at that. So that's a secret. So you got a face down card in the very beginning for where you're standing, but you're keeping this information to yourself, and it's an oracle card. Okay, so you got remain positive. Why is this a secret? You don't want anybody to tear you down. Okay. I feel like you have a very optimistic viewpoint going into this, but you're keeping it low-key. You don't want anybody to, like... I feel like there's some naysayers around you, and I just feel like it might be used against you, or you're having this moment where, you know what, I really feel good about this, and I got a lot of hopes for where this is going, but you're not feeling the support. Is that correct? You're not feeling that supportive energy? There might be some pessimistic people around you. No. What are we saying? I just feel like you're keeping it to yourself. You have a lot of hopes and dreams for this situation. You're feeling really good about it, but you're keeping it to yourself for one reason or another. So I'm not going to overly judge it, because I feel like it's kind of depending on your situation. You have your own reasons why you'd want to keep this secret. If this reading ends up hitting, I feel like you're going to know why you're keeping it to yourself. So we'll leave that to where it is. Now, as you come in, you got the Two of Cups, and you got like a trio of cards connected with the fourth card here. The Two of Cups is going into the Page of Wands. At the bottom, on the other side, the other person has the Four of Cups. I feel like they're kind of... I feel like they're participating, but they're not talking about how they feel or where they see things going. I feel like there's an active energy here with this card, but I feel like not like sharing what they feel. Like the Four of Cups is talking about sharing what they feel is what I'm getting from that. But they're actively involved with you. It's just where they stand and what they're thinking. They may still be working that out, which is another reason why I feel like they're not sharing it with you, that they're mulling this over. Now, you start with the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups leads into the Page of Wands. And I'm getting that listening action there. Paying attention, being very perceptive. I'm getting a very perceptive energy with the Page of Wands. I want to say swords because, you know, okay. And I'm seeing all those birds of this person listening. I get what this card is unique to me, because usually it's active listening, like not just like if you're in a lunchroom and there's people you know or people you're aware of in the same situation, not just kind of like sitting close and listening in. It's not like that, which might be like a Page of Swords type action, but like an active listening, like you're listening, you hear people come into the room that are in the same boat as you are, so you go and you engage in a conversation and you create conversation, create a mode to where they'll start sharing information. You're actively participating in getting the information, but you're listening very carefully to hear what's said between the lines. Okay. Now, these three cards come together because the other person, I feel like this has a lot to do with this other person, but I feel like there's other factors. Is that correct? No? You're doing this with this person? Alright, so this is how you're doing it with this person. You're actively starting conversations. You're trying to find out where they're standing. So you're trying to find out what's going on here. I feel like they may not know where they stand just yet, just to be fair with you. Because you're really enjoying the situation. You're trying to find out... See, the other person seems to be trying to figure out where you're standing too. That might be a two-way street. They're trying to just find out what your goals are or something. Like, it seems like there's a two-way street going on here with the Page of Wands. They really don't know where they stand yet, though. I feel like they don't really know. They're trying to figure it out. And they're not really telling you that. But they're actively involved with you. And you're trying to figure it out. You're actively trying to figure out. They're also actively trying to figure out where you stand. Because you're keeping back that you're very optimistic and you have a lot of hopes for the situation. But you're realizing the other person might not be on board with that just yet. Not just yet. So you're holding it back not to be presumptuous. This is the fourth card that puts them all together. The Six of Wands. This situation seems to be surviving. I feel like it's cooperative effort. There is some like stress because each of you wants to know where the other is, but it's kind of overcoming it, just kind of moving through the situation. Okay, so this seems to be starting what this is starting out with. Now, what's going on next is a good question. You got that king, the trio here at the top. The King of Cups is what you start with. Very happy, very feeling like loving the situation. No matter what it is, you're happy about it. You like it. You very much want to be a part of it. That's the King. So you're happy where you're sitting. All right, then the Wheel. We're getting to the Wheel. Page of Swords is right there, right below the Wheel. So something comes forward. Some information comes forward. Is it from you? No. From the other side. From the other side. The other side, something comes forward from them. Does this create... See, this creates this next card, but is it... I don't know if they realize it's going to create the next card. That's my question. There's a conversation that happens here. I feel like there's a conversation you're having with this person. And it started off where they didn't know where they were standing. And it feels like it was kind of like just making it through the situation. Neither side really giving in to like what they're actually thinking or feeling. Now this is either at the end of that conversation or another conversation after the fact. One of the two. It's going to depend how it hits for you. But something bluntly comes forward. Something bluntly comes forward. Something you weren't aware of. And I feel like this is kind of a game changer for you. Because whatever comes forward in this blunt conversation, be it at the end of this one conversation or a whole new one, I feel like for the most of you it's a whole different conversation after the fact. Either way, it's then creating the Five of Swords. Like there's a little bit of defensiveness between the two of you, and each of you seem to be trying to defend where you're standing, trying to defend your position. And I'm noticing what's created on the other side here for the other person is the Tower card. Whatever they said has caused a rift between the two of you. And I feel like, I don't know if you're really... It's creating the Tower card. Whatever they said that was very biting, this got your goat, and you kind of put right forward what you're thinking about that. I feel like their quick comment forward was met with another one right back from you. Equal energy, if not a little stronger. that the tower hit here. On their side, the tower hit because whatever they said, it's almost like they pushed a button, and you told them exactly what you thought about that. Because this is where your Ace of Swords pops in. Very strong words. I'm getting that's what this is. Very strong words. Whatever happened here, whatever they said, you didn't like it, and you right off the bat told the other person what where you stood with that comment. Came very sharp. But it's not like it's not like you just came out of nowhere with it. Something came from them towards you, and you reacted right to it. You just said where you stand with it. I just feel like you weren't really impressed with the comment to begin with, and you were a little annoyed with it, and that's why it snapped back pretty hard. So then there's this defensiveness. Now what is happening next is the question. Because I'm seeing a face down card now on the other person's side, whoever you're dealing with. I'm seeing on your side recovery. Like, you said what you needed to say. You meant it. I feel like you meant it. It might be one of those situations where it might have come off a little harshly, but you still meant what you said. It's not like the information was false. It may have came across a bit biting, a bit sharp, but I feel like you're also looking at it like, you know what, it came at me a bit sharp, so I feel like you're kind of, the recovery here is like kind of like moving on from it, letting the dust settle, just kind of letting it de-energize, if you want to say, I don't even know if that's a word. And I feel like as that's happening, this is after that defensive moment, the Six of Cups, which I feel like you guys are trying to get back to where you were. However this is hitting for you, you're trying to get back to where you were. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to match this to a romantic situation, but it's definitely, I feel like this is also like a very emotionally close, it could be a partnership, it could be a friendship, could be a close family member, could be a business partnership, but it's definitely somebody who affects your life very strongly and that you usually get along with, and you have ideas about where you're going to go with this relationship, whatever way it hits. And after all this happens, you are recovering from what you said. I feel like you might be just kind of like, that came across a little biting. I definitely want the other person to know where I stand, but I didn't want to really just like beat up on them about it. And it might have come across harshly at your own judgment of that. Like, that's for you to say whether that was too much or not. Let's put it that way. If this is hitting for you, of course. I always have to say that. But after it's over, after the comment, we're going to use this as that. After the comment is over, after this moment of being, the two sides being defensive and just kind of like, digging your heels in, I feel like you're both in this moment where you're just trying to get it back to where it was, just trying to get over the situation, trying to let it go, and you're very much about that. You got recovery on your side. You're like, you know what, things were said, but you know what, it was the truth, but let's let it go. Let's move on to the future. The truth came out, and that's good. How it was said may have been a little bit much, but let's let it go in the past. Now, on the other person's side, they have face down perfect timing. So, this is information they needed. It came across really strong, but they needed to know where you stood. I don't feel like they're regretting the conversation. I feel like they're kind of a little thankful to know exactly where you stand, and they're feeling like this is a good time to know this. Whatever it is you said. I feel like that's very general, but it is a general reading. The thing is, what happens next is, like, after trying to bring it back to where it was, I'm noticing, like, each side is trying to hold the situation together. When I see that Four of Coins for you and this person, whoever you're dealing with, you're both just trying to stabilize the situation. I feel like it's trying to hold on to a situation, trying to stabilize it. But where is it going from there? This whole part of this conversation, I feel like this whole reading is about this moment where they push something forward a little sharply and you react quickly. They find out where you're standing. And that's their whole goal. I don't feel like they meant to do it the way it came across. I don't feel like it was planned. Like, oh, I'm going to say this, and then I'll find out where my Aries counterpart stands. I don't feel like that's happening. It's not pre-planned, but they do want to know. And something about this, they push forward what they say. You snap back very strong, a lot of strength. How you feel about that, and they find out. But it's causing this Tower card and the perfect timing. Now the Tower card definitely, that's a breakdown of the old, but it always leaves space for a new beginning. It's like tearing down the bad piece of a situation and rebuilding it with better bricks. Almost like if you look at a 2-story building, it's like knocking off the top story because it was put on there incorrectly and then rebuilding it. For building it to last. So I feel like they are looking at the situation while what they said was, well, how it came across was very hard for them. I feel like they're very thankful that they know exactly where you stand and they can move forward based on that information. This seems to be strengthening this. But it's like this recovery period might go on for a while because each side seems to be holding on or trying to hold the situation together. It's almost like it reminds me of like when you have, instead of using stitches now, they use glue. It's kind of like putting that glue on there, and then it just holds long enough until it's healed, not completely, but enough so it holds itself together, and then the glue kind of falls off, from what I understand. I haven't had that, but that's how I understand it works. I don't know, or does it dissolve? I don't know, I haven't had it, but that's my impression of it. So I'm feeling like that's why this Four of Pentacles is here. Like that both sides are holding the situation together. Neither of you want to see this like unravel. So you're holding it together until everything seems more cohesive and more stable. Like and by holding it together, I feel like it's being like extra nice to each other, that type of thing. Not like foolishly, not like not like a kid. Not kid gloves. I don't want to say, but like taking a little extra time to make sure the other person's happy. Looking out for the other. Doing a little extra things to make sure the other one sees the value you have in each other, that type of thing. So that's what I feel like the Four of Pentacles is saying. It's like holding the situation together. Both sides are doing extra things, just trying to hold the situation together so it can heal enough so that both sides are secure that it's going to be okay. And the effort's on both sides, so I don't feel like that's a problem. But whatever you said, that changed the other person, and they're moving forward with that new information. I don't feel like that's a problem for you because it was the truth. But I guess it's good that you know that. I don't feel like none of this is going to be a problem for you because it's where you stand, and it's going forward based on where you stand. The other person seems to be more conforming to that once they understand where you are in the situation. And I don't know if you're giving like it's part of this optimistic thing that you're holding back in the beginning. What you see this going forward as, or what you thought it was until that comment, when that comment is made, you might be like, well, this is what I was planning, but not if you're going to have that attitude, or something like that. It comes forward, at least part of it, and the other side readjusts. I don't feel like they saw it that way. I don't know if they liked it completely, but once they realized where you were standing and that you were very firm on your stance, they just seem to be like, you know what, I can go that way, that's fine. And they just it kind of breaks down part of the situation, but they just rebuild it going the direction you're going. I don't know, I think I'm looking for too much here because I keep thinking maybe there's something else here, but I think that's it. Alright, so it seems like everything seems to be realigning. A moment that's a little bit rough works to your benefit, and I feel like that's the whole point. Because at the end here, I feel you're fine. You're both just working together to heal the situation, but the information you gave out in this moment, it's working to your benefit, and the other person just seems to be going along with it. They're cool with that. They're like, you know what, as long as we're on the same page, it wasn't originally what I wanted, and I feel like there's a little heartbreak on their side about it, just slight, but they're just readjusting their course, and they're going the direction you're going. And that's that. Okay, I'm going to stop rehashing this and put this to bed. If you'd like a reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.